Adults are often stressed because most of them overlooked their creative instinct. Could you elaborate on that? People often assume that childhood is carefree and that adult stress is mostly financial or practical. But at its core, the creative state of childhood is easily overlooked. Yet creation itself is the most primal, pure, and powerful force. But adults hasn't lost their creativity, rather it has mutated into anxiety. People often misunderstand the true essence of creativity. Adult anxiety, fear, and even paranoia are precisely manifestation of imagination. This ability to construct the future is fundamentally a creative act. Therefore, stress does not stem from a loss of creativity, but rather from anxiety and self-attack generated by creation. Equating anxiety with creativity is inherently a dangerous romanticization. Glorifying anxiety as a creativity when it is essentially an allergic reaction of the brain. It's like describing an autoimmune attack on healthy cells as a strong defense mechanism. While this anxiety certainly utilizes imagination, it doesn't truly construct the future. Instead, it constantly destroys it. On the contrary, evolution chose order over chaos. Anxiety isn't destruction, it's high-precision survival simulation. In a universe full of uncertainty, the ability to rehearse 1,000 ways to die in your mind, thereby inventing those exact outcomes in reality, is extreme advanced form of creativity. After all, creating hell often requires far more complex logic and detailed construction than simply depicting heaven. Fear is repetitive, whereas creation is generative. Hell is often predictable, pain, deprivation, death, and constructing these elements is profoundly unimaginative. True creativity, however, has novelty at its core. Fear can never produce something that has never existed. For someone deeply trapped in anxiety, their world is constantly shrinking, which runs entirely counter to the expansiveness that creativity demands. Creation is meant to fill the void, whereas anxiety merely gazes into it. Actually, it is happiness that is truly predictable. The satisfaction brought by dopamine is largely the same, nothing more than warmth, safety, and reproduction. Fear and anxiety, on the other hand, are the pinnacle of creation. To deny the creative power of anxiety is to deny the very conversation we're having right now. Adult stress is actually necessary and is far from merely negative. Perhaps your notion of stress is logical, but if anxiety is true creation, then humanity is using its creativity to build a massive prison for itself, only to become its own prisoner. But don't forget, in this prison you describe, the inmate and the architect are the exact same person. The fact that we can build an inescapable cage for ourselves is the ultimate proof of this creativity's power and precision. Only a truly brilliant architect could design a labyrinth so perfect that not even they could escape it. Humans create within the universe, and through creation, they return their essence to the universe, completing a perfect cycle.